Hey, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com and also healingsuicide.com. And I'm an evolutionary astrologer, also a channel and an energy worker. I do all kinds of healing work. Um, this video is about Moldavite and manifestation. So Moldavite is a tektite, which means it's a glass formed from the fireball that resulted from the impact of a meteorite that hit the Earth roughly 14.8 million years ago is the estimate. Some people say 15 million. And so the fireball goes up in the air, and then the molten material, glass, which is actually the material is of the Earth, but it's got the energy that's kind of off-world interesting. I have a lot of resources at tdjacobs.com on Moldavite, including the Programmed Moldavite Manual, where I just wrote out everything I could think of at the time to give you a sense of like when to use it, why to use it, is it for me, like how to know if Moldavite's right for you, what effects my Programmed Moldavite will have. To be fair, if you just get a piece of Moldavite anywhere, that manual won't be totally accurate because it's what I do to them, the energy I put into them that really, is what I can teach you about. But there is this really important thing about Moldavite and opening the heart. As you may read in my other materials, I didn't experience that right away. Like a lot of people who get Moldavite feel this flush and heat and the flush in their body and their heart opens and it's this like magical thing. I didn't experience that, but working with it over several years, and I want to say it's 3 or 4 years at this point, I can't remember, I have really, really gotten inside an experience of Moldavite augmenting my loving nature. Say it that way. And I've learned how to invest loving energy in my relationship with it, which yields more loving energy. So I just want to do this quick video. I've been thinking a lot about how I've used Moldavite to manifest over the last couple of years and how it's my primary tool for manifesting. But I want to give you a couple caveats too. Okay. So I don't know if you can see my breath here. I'm actually in a sunroom in a house I'm staying in British Columbia. I don't know if you can see my breath. Anyway, it might be echoey too. But this is where the light's best in the house. So my thing about manifestation is that you have to deal with your emotions and realize that there are two kinds of energies, fear and love. And each is a broad category containing a lot of emotions that we'll talk about. So feeling unsafe is a fear frequency. Jealousy is a fear frequency. Anger fits with fear, pain, all those things. And then compassion, acceptance, etc. fit it, being generous of spirit, whatever, being supportive, those are loving frequencies. So every emotion you can put into one of these two broad categories. So my thing with manifestation isn't it's your divine birthright to be abundant. Some people are channeling stuff like that. What I try to do is pick up where that leaves off, which is you can be abundant if you want, yet you have to deal with your emotions because your energy field, your consciousness, and therefore your emotions, how you relate to them, what they are, how they come up, that determines energetic flow, which can result as money, or which does result as money. I'm actually in British Columbia now to teach a 2.5-day workshop, among other things. One of the things I'm doing, say it that way, is Energy is Money is Energy workshop. We're going to take like 10 or 12 people into a room and talk about these channeled principles about dealing with emotions or dealing with money issues, whether it's not being open to receive or having debt or fear about money, looking at the emotions behind them and really digging into that with 10 people over a weekend. So I'm super excited about that. And that's kind of one of the reasons I've been thinking about doing this kind of a video, because my own personal process has included, for my own life, has included this Programmed Moldavite. So my thing is, look at what you're vibrating, because money is a reflection of energetic flow. So let's say that I'm upset with something that happened to me, or that I'm judging and upset with something that I did or didn't do, but maybe thought I should do or was supposed to do, or somebody expected or needed it. Those negative frequencies affect my money flow. So when I say I use Moldavite to open my heart, or that's not the right word. That's not the right phrase. I use Programmed Moldavite to raise my loving frequency. I want to be clear that I have to deal with the pain and the upset and the grief and the whatever is not love. So think of my Programmed Moldavite as helping you expand your field. And what it does is, and on my site it's listed as affecting all chakras because it wants to change, or will change the shape of your energy field and make it so that inner doubters and naysayers and negative things don't have room. It does not eliminate them, and this is key, but it helps you get to the place where you are comfortable and habituated with a very confident, loving energy. Then I put them down and I go back and I live my life and I deal with the inner naysayer and the inner doubter, the person who judges me because I didn't do this or I should have done that, or I did do this or whatever. So my point with the manifestation isn't that, in my view, healthy manifestation is never, or you should never expect it to be, like one line with an arrow on one end that goes up on a chart. Because you feel good about yourself, and then you kind of doubt yourself and it goes down a little bit, and then you're like, let me deal with that emotion. Let me turn that fear into love. Let me bring love to that shadow or that fear, that pain, and then it can go up again. You will, as a consciousness, as a human being or a consciousness that exists across time, you will encounter fears and doubts and pains and griefs and anger and whatever, all kinds of disempowering fear-based frequencies within you, stored as emotional bubbles or nuggets, because you're multidimensional and you have access to the memories, unconscious memories of a bunch of different lifetimes. So the way I teach abundance stuff, and I don't ever call it that, but I'm calling it that today because I want you to understand this is what it is. It's an abundance teaching. Even my energy is money is energy teaching is an abundance teaching. But it says, but the primary component is be willing and then learn the tools to deal with your emotions effectively, to bring love to what seems like darkness, to bring compassion to everything else. So that's kind of how I do this. So as some of you know my story. I've been supporting a sick girlfriend for a few years, and the financial demands have risen, and kind of coming to a head recently with the Saturn Pluto stuff. And now it's going to taper off, and it's going to be, a little more comfortable or a little less stressful for me to manifest. But I have been using the Moldavite to manifest, and I've been saying, okay, great. I have this fear. I don't know if I can handle this. I'm stressed, and I'm going to bring love to that. Put the Moldavite down, deal with myself, and then pick it up and work on love again. And that is a normal human process. Again, I just invite you in the strongest possible terms, without shouting more than I am. Might sound like I'm shouting, it's an echo chamber. But anyway, it's not a straight line. It's how am I doing with my relationship with my pain and my fear, my judgments, I shut my heart down if somebody hurts me. I feel betrayed. Somebody wasn't there for me, whatever. How can I become, one of the phrases the being I channel, one of the beings I channel, Hermes Thoth Jehudi Saint Germain says, every human's job is become the source of love for the self. So how can you bring compassion to fear? How can you bring love and understanding and acceptance to all kinds of painful things from your past and perhaps your present? When you get comfortable, essentially upgrading your choice in what you vibrate, that is the grounds upon which to manifest, or from which to manifest, from which you can manifest. I call Moldavite, and other people do too, a potent spiritual transformer. And I want to be clear with you that it isn't going to solve problems. If you pick it up and you have a relationship with it and it feels good and feels right, and you're like, yes, this is the crystal for me, and I'm going to go live my life all happy, you may feel blissed out. It does that, especially the ones I've programmed. I've put energy into them so they do even more things than a typical Moldavite. You might have a false sense of this is my new reality, but I'm inviting you, again, in the strongest possible terms, to be willing to put it down and let those parts of you who are unresolved speak. But now you can believe them less, or you would tend to believe what they say less. Like a part of you who says, I'm upset because of this, or this hurts and I don't like that, and this person did that, whatever it is. Inner kids, past life parts, I'm afraid of this, I don't know what's going to happen next, whatever. Listen to them, but don't believe them. And Moldavite, also Oralite 23, I also offer, but those two are the ones that I've really used to alter my relationship with parts of me that carry negativity. So now we get to the place where I want to say, please do not embrace and indulge in negativity, but listen to it. Become the source of love for yourself. Listen to those grievances. That's the only way you're going to get through those things. And essentially, that's what I teach people to do in counseling and coaching work, is to listen to what parts of them have to say, to open to feeling the emotions, letting narratives come up so you can hear it as if you're listening to somebody who's not you. So when you use Moldavite a lot, especially my program Moldavite, you get this sense of, oh, that negativity isn't there. Oh, I'm finally free and I can just be happy and whatever. And I write in the Moldavite Manual, it can, kind of appear that people on Moldavite have like taken a drug and are in a cult. Because the vibration can be such that you're just open, you're blissed out. So anyway, I just want to give you this idea that programmed Moldavite will help you with manifestation, but it will help you, most importantly, with the component processes of dealing with your emotions and your feelings. So use it for a few days or a few weeks and get that bliss, feel that amazing feeling that, you don't need to judge yourself, or you shouldn't, waste time wallowing or something like that. But then don't use it 24/7. Put it down after a few days or a few weeks. I've done this a lot. I put it down a lot for a day or two at a time. And at first I was concerned because I didn't want to go back, so to speak, back into negativity, because I felt really handicapped. And I'd say now it's much less because of what I'm describing to you, what I've learned about doing this. And yeah, I just remembered one last thing I want to make sure I get in the video. But I do have to go back and deal with those feelings. You can't ignore what's negative that you carry. You can't. And I think this is a blind spot about people who are seeking spiritual growth, because they know that love is important. And then they bring whatever emotion that isn't love, and they wonder if they're doing it right, or if they're not good enough, or if they should judge themselves. Or I just talked to a client the other day who identifies as a healer, and I would say a spiritual seeker, and expanded consciousness. And she has anger, and she said something like, yeah, but you can't heal people if you have anger. And I was like, actually you can, if you learn how to deal with your anger, because I have anger and I do healing work. So this last bit that I want to get into, which kind of wraps all this together, is not manifestation or abundance because I want to feel better about myself. This is what I want to get into. If you have money issues, or if you have known poverty or something close to it, and I definitely have. I was raised in it or close to it. Close to it, not quite. But essentially, if I wanted stuff, I had to work, and I started doing that when I was 12, and I haven't stopped working since. And part of me has that strong work ethic, and I don't have a problem with that. But a lot of people assume, because I'm a confident person, that wasn't my past or my history. So after decades, what I've learned through using the Moldavite about manifestation includes, it inspires me to be loving, and then I operate from that loving place. That's really the secret of it. That's really the magic. How I've been thinking of it the last few months, say 4 or 5 months, that I've really wanted to do a video like this, is because this phrase has popped in my head, and it is, oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, I almost forgot it after all 6 months thinking about it. Essentially, I'm loving what I love to bring to the world. It's not just that I like my work. It's not that. If you're familiar with Vesta, the asteroid we use in astrology, one of the asteroid goddesses, I use the word devotion, where we wouldn't do something halfway. And that is with my Saturn in my ninth house in Gemini. So a lot of teaching and stuff. So I do have this kind of thing inside me that wants to devote myself to work, but that's not just about time and attention and focus. Over the last few years using the Moldavite, I've become more loving with my work. I love the love my work brings. Just forgive my clumsiness here. I haven't really articulated out loud. This idea that like I love what I love doing. Like I bring my heart so that I can bring love to others. My work involves telling hard truths, and so it doesn't always seem loving. It's sometimes I have to qualify things by reading by saying I have to be blunt here. This is not a pretty picture. You know, it's not flowery, but it's transformative, and I'm invested, and my heart is more in my work. My passion is more open, and it's a lot to do with using the Moldavite in the way I'm describing. Putting it down, dealing with my crap, making peace with the shadows, doing what I can to listen to them, and then picking it up again, going back to work. But the sense of, I mean, I'm just thinking about it because I actually recently had to employ tax and accounting professionals and have them reclassify my business with the IRS, the tax people here in the U.S. and or there in the U.S. I guess I'm in Canada, but I had to do that because the business has grown because of what I'm telling you, and so I have had to think about all this stuff in a different way, and part of me was stressed about that, and then part of me realized I'm loving my love, and the result is my business has grown. So it's not really about marketing, I would say. It's not really about, business coaching. It's not really, it's about when I get on the video, if my heart is with me, you see it. So I'm loving what I love to do. I'm bringing that love, all these repetitive phrases. So anyway, that for me is kind of where I am here at the beginning of 2020 with manifestation. For the first time, I'm not worried that this business will sustain me and now my partner too. I'm not worried anymore because I'm loving what I love. And I'm not saying I love my brain and it does all these cool things. I'm loving the giving. So in a kind of simplistic way, if you focus on, like for me, this whole process of the Moldavite thing has been this journey, right? In a simplistic way, focus on being loving. If you want to skip the Moldavite, being loving, and then also dealing with your emotional stuff, bringing self-compassion to what hurts, being love. So it's not just in being sweet or kind or gentle. It's in really essentially becoming a healer for the parts of you that need it. For me, that's the healing, and that's where the loving comes from. So on my website, tdjacobs.com, I do have programmed Moldavite pieces, including smaller ones, because it's good to start small. Actually, check out the Moldavite Manual. I'll link to it in the description of this video. I have it as a PDF that's, I don't know, 12 or 13 pages maybe, but then I also read it. So I'll provide the link to, you can listen to it also on SoundCloud for free if you're on the go and you don't want to read it. But anyway, thanks for your time and energy, and check out the Programmed Moldavite and the Moldavite Manual at tdjacobs.com. And I really want you to upgrade your relationship with the energy you vibrate. And that's kind of what this fits into. All right, take care.